Hi guys, we're just at the Epic Drum Studio in York. We're going to be doing some of the finishing bits over the next couple of days. Let's just have a look around and see what we've got to do. So we pretty much got on the outside just the outer shell bits up. We've got this these battens on for the cladding. So we've got the cladding going on here, which is tongue and groove, shadow gap, redwood cladding. We've done like a dark oak stain on this one. Got a rubber roof to bond on. Got the window to go in, which is going to be a black UPVC window. And on the sides, we've also got metal cladding going on. With the back and the sides, because we're using the anthracite sheet metal cladding, we don't generally put battens on because it can be a little bit reverberant and boingy, and so unless you'd have insulation on the outside in between the battens, then we actually just put the metal cladding straight on the building. We've got a guttering to go on the back. We've got our vent grills, that's the passive one. This one's an active one, which is going to have a waterproof box on it, so we might get the fan ready for tomorrow to go on. We've got electrics to do, that's the AC feed there. It's all been plastered, which was done a couple of weeks ago. We've got all the back boxes to go on. We'll pre-mark all those and put the red plugs in. We've also got the paint for this is going to be natural slate, which is a sort of darkish, mid to dark grey. We're going to have to do 2 mist coats in a light grey with a breathable paint. And then obviously we can then spray on the vinyl mat in the natural slate. We've also got the armoured cable to run down from the studio to the house. So that's a 6mm 3-core armoured. Might get some of the electrics done, get some of the boxes on and the socket fronts, and obviously the consumer unit. So yeah, we'll see how we get on, and we'll bring you guys back once we're set up. Cladding there.
Cladding.
Shall we unload? Is that your hats for today, Peter? Distinct improvement.
Oh, so rude on the camera.
That's nice. That's not rude.
Sana jarboard.
Like Jamiroquai. Get some feathers on it.
Craftwork.
Great coffee. Nice mug. So first job, guys, is Jacob and BJ. They're going to be sorting the roof out. It's going to be bonding that on. So we've just temporary stapled that all the way round so it didn't come off. But that's been there for about a month, I think, probably a bit longer. The reason we sort of do that is to obviously let it kind of flatten out naturally. I'm going to be going through the plaster work. Just give it a quick sand here and there. Obviously this is totally flat, so it'll paint up really nicely, but it's just the odd little tiny bit. So I'll just go through that and make sure that's good. And then I'll start getting all the back boxes prepared. So once we're a bit further on, we'll bring you back.
On this corner.
Okay guys, I've just gone around all the plaster work with a little bit of sandpaper. Just sort of done a few bits. Got some bits to do, like pulling out the electric feeds. I actually hid some of the roof ones a bit higher up this time, so I got plaster over the top of them. Also, big mistake, we actually forgot to pull through the cables for the consumer unit. Luckily, I think we can get to it through here. We actually did a pull through here, but we forgot to pull the pull through the wall. So that's a bit of a waste. But yeah, so I'm gonna get the back boxes on next in preparation for doing the spray painting, which we'll get to shortly. Let's just see what the guys are doing. I actually left them bonding the roof on upstairs. I can hear them, but let's just go have a look and see how they're doing. Nice. This is what you call bonding. Okay guys, just going to get some of the back boxes on now. All the electrics in the room are surface mounted. Kind of obvious, but the reason for this is because you don't want to be putting recessed drywall boxes into the wall and obviously putting massive holes in the double plasterboard and the rockwool behind. So everything's surface mounted. So we have 32mm 2-gang boxes for the wall, for all the sockets. I think we've got about 7 or 8 in here. And then for the light switches, we have single patrices, which are 47mm. We have all the feeds in the actual switch, so we do quite a deep box for that. And then the outside light has a 47mm 2-gang. If you've seen any of our videos before, you'll know we use the Quinetic switch for the outside lights, which is a remote switch, which that can live inside there. It's kind of like a receiver unit with a blanking plate on. So I'm going to shut these on now. I'm just going to dry fit them, get them marked out, get the holes done, and then I can get the red plugs in. And then obviously we won't fit them today because we're going to be spraying everything down with some paint. But I'll get those done and then bring you guys back. Okay, so a bit controversial, but this Torx Milwaukee T20 Torx bit actually makes a perfect hole for the red plugs in the plasterboard. So it's a T20, we just sort of press it in and then drive it through, perfect hole for the red plugs. Little free tip there, guys. Okay guys, slight disaster because we forgot to pull the cable through the wall here. This rockwool's really tight as well, so I've had to kind of gouge out, and I found the wires thankfully. So I can get those through, do a hole here, and then I'll pull through there, I'll get our armoured cable coming up here and then in. Yeah. Sometimes these things happen. Okay, so once you get the cable through, that's all gone in nicely. Just bringing the armoured through now, which has come from outside here. So we've got about a 25-metre run, which is going to go down to the house. So we're going to have to bend this down here and then sort of round there somewhere behind the cladding. What I'm going to do is just use this stripper just to strip this, kind of easier to do. Once it's kind of free, you can go backwards and forwards. Obviously it's a lot harder to do when it's fixed. So I thought if I strip off enough of the armoured and the steel wire now, then I don't have to mess around with that later on. That's those wires through for the armoured, that's all done now. So the other thing I was going to do was actually, it's kind of like a little bit of a new thing, but where we've got some holes in the drywall, I'm going to just plug those up with a little bit of expanding foam, which we don't normally do that, but it actually wouldn't do any harm. To be fair, once the socket goes on top of it, it kind of seals it anyway, but I thought, well, let's just do it. So we're just going to chuck a little bit of expanding foam in each of the holes just really quick. That's the armoured cable in place. We've just done it at a bit of an angle, so it just came out a bit easier at the end. This is going to go down the garden, probably down the fence somewhere. It's just been replaced actually. It's kind of got to then go across and into the kitchen, so we'll have to see about that, but that's all getting there. What's Jacob doing? Oh, cladding. Clad, oh yeah, dark oak, all that roof's bonded on. Let's just have a look on top.
Let me get down.
just about to do a mist coat spray on the walls and the ceiling. I've got this Armstead trade mat, which is actually a light grey. We've watered it down by about 30%. Just going to give this approximately 24 hours to go off so we can do the vinyl mat on the next visit. The other thing I've done as well, I'll just turn the camera, because we actually put the floor in before the walls, we had a little bit of a gap here, which I've put some expanding foam around. But the other purpose of that is when I'm spraying up and down, it's not going to blow any dust that's in that sort of area onto the walls, which sometimes happens. So I've just sort of put expanding foam, which obviously will plug it up anyway. As mentioned before, we put expanding foam on all the joints so we can cut those back once we put the back boxes on. Yeah, so that's all taking shape. So I'm going to get on with the spray now. So I've got the Graco GXFF with I think it's around a 12-inch spray pattern. So this should go on pretty quickly. I'll bring you guys back once I've got this sprayed on. That's the mist coat done, guys. I'm gonna get out of this now. So Jacob's got around with the cladding here. The window we've got on the outside is a UPVC black window. That's the sill. We've got these end pieces to go on, which I'm going to put these on with a bit of OB1 silicone. The outer part of the window is over here. Just trying to get all this on before we finish tonight. So this is the outer part of the frame. So I'm just going to try and get these fitted now. And we can get the glass in before we go. Okay guys, that's us done for today. Let's just have a little around and see where we got up to. We've got all the cladding installed on the outside, well Jacob did anyway, and we got one window in, which is the external part of the window. On the sides we've still got to get the anthracite metal cladding on, so we'll do that tomorrow, but all the roof trim's done. We've got this extra strip which goes just below the rubber roof just to sort of protect it. Let's just have a look in here. So inside we got the mist coat on, so it's just like a watered down sort of version of the paint, and it's going to be a little bit darker than this, but it's a vinyl mat we're putting on, so we've put a breathable mist coat on. That should be dry by tomorrow, but we may give it a little bit longer. We'll see how we go. All the electrics, we've got all the plugs on there, all the red plugs. And we've actually put expanding foam behind all the wires just to kind of give it a bit of extra plugging and sort of soundproofing. And we've got obviously this bit of expanding foam around the bottom. So when we're back tomorrow, we're going to be getting the cladding on the outside, we're going to be getting the guttering in, going to be getting the electrics, first part done. We're going to finish now. We shall bring you guys back first thing in the morning. That looks like angelic because of the sky. Look angelic, Jacob.
I am Angela.